China is currently dominating the global electronics industry, producing and exporting a large number of electronic devices, including smartphones, laptops, and other gadgets. This has been made possible due to China's low cost labor, vast supply chains, and advanced manufacturing technology. As a result, China has become a major player in the global economy, with many of the world's top electronics brands relying on China's manufacturers for their product.
Welcome to my channel Facts Lanka.
In this video, we will discuss China's dominance in the electronics manufacturing industry. Despite recent trade and COVID restrictions, China remains a key destination for electronics manufacturing, exporting almost half of the world's cell phones and laptops, and producing many subcontinents used elsewhere. China is the world's biggest manufacturing hub of electronics, with much of the production centralized in the southern region. The government took advantage of the larger labor pool and low labor costs around 3 decades ago, and the country has since benefited from rapid development in infrastructure and innovation. China is the largest exporter of electronics to the US, accounting for more than one-third of US imports, and is home to many global mobile phone brands such as Huawei, Xiaomi, and TCL, which have established strong manufacturing capabilities locally. China is also known for having a large rare earth elements reserve, which is crucial for producing electronics components. One of the reasons China maintained its position as a leading manufacturing destination is the availability of subcomponents. Manufacturers save much on sourcing components locally, as this can be supplied domestically. As a result, foreign companies find it difficult to relocate production overseas, as they will lose access to the supplier and face additional logistic costs. Despite increasing wages, China is still considered a low-cost country for sourcing, with wages around 3 times higher than Vietnam on average. With a population of more than 1.4 billion people, Chinese workers are believed to be more skilled compared to competing countries such as Vietnam or Indonesia. The country has also built a business ecosystem that cannot be found elsewhere in Asia, with a developed supply chain that benefit manufacturers in both procurement and distribution process. However, there are also some disadvantages to sourcing electronics in China, including communication issues that foreign companies often encounter when working with Chinese suppliers. Nonetheless, China's improved proficiency in the English language is a positive sign in favor of the global business community. In conclusion, China remains a critical player in the electronics manufacturing industry, with many benefits for sourcing electronics here, but manufacturers should also be aware of the potential challenges. Intellectual property risk. China has been accused of stealing intellectual property from foreign companies. This is a concern for companies that develop innovative products and want to protect their IP. It's important to work with reputable suppliers and take steps to protect your IP when working in China. Quality control issues. Quality control can be a challenge when working with Chinese manufacturers. It's important to carefully vet suppliers and establish quality control process to ensure that your product meets your standards. Logistic and supply chain distribution. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the risk of relying on a single source for critical components. Disruption to logistic and supply chain can cause delay and impact production schedules. It's important to diversify your supply chain and consider alternative sourcing options to minimize the risk of disruptions. Alternatives to sourcing electronics in China. Despite the benefit of sourcing electronics in China, there are alternative options that companies can consider. Some of these alternatives include Vietnam. Vietnam has emerged as a popular alternative to China for electronic manufacturing. The country has a large and skilled labor force, low labor costs, and a favorable business environment. However, the infrastructure and supply chain in Vietnam are not as developed as in China. Taiwan. Taiwan is known for its expertise in semiconductor manufacturing and is a major player in the electronic industry. The country has a highly skilled workforce and advanced infrastructure. However, labor costs in Taiwan are higher than in China. India has a large and growing electronic industry and is becoming an attractive alternative to China. The country has a large and skilled labor force. but the infrastructure and the supply chain are not as developed as in China. China remains a crucial manufacturing destination for electronics, with many advantages for companies that source their product there. However, there are also risks and drawbacks that should be considered. Companies should carefully weigh the pros and cons of sourcing from China and consider alternate options to diversify the supply chain and minimize risk.